Midnight Drearies.
Flossy the Clown was unlike any other clown you'd ever seen. She worked at the Mingo Brothers' traveling circus, a grimy, worn-down carnival that traveled from town to town, bringing with it the stench of sawdust and desperation. The circus was a place of faded dreams and forgotten promises, and Flossie was its most tragic figure. From the very first day she had joined the circus, Flossie was met with cruelty and ridicule. The ringmaster, a tall, imposing figure named Barnaby Mingo, was a sadistic man who took pleasure in tormenting Flossie. He would often trip her, causing her to fall in her oversized shoes, or throw pies in her face when she least expected it. The other workers and performers were no better. They would whisper cruel jokes and insults behind her back, making her the butt of their sordid humor. But Flossie was not like the others. She had a pure heart, and all she ever wanted was to make people smile and laugh. She believed in the magic of the circus, in the power of joy and wonder. She would put on her colorful makeup, tease up her pink cotton candy hair, and try to bring happiness to the faces of the young children who came to the circus, despite the relentless abuse she endured. Flossie's one solace in this wretched place was her connection to an ancient and dark god, Cthulhu. In the depths of night, when the world was silent and dark, Flossie would offer prayers to the malevolent deity. She would kneel before a crude altar in her tiny, dimly lit Vardo, a small flickering candle the only source of light. One fateful night, as Flossie whispered her prayers, her eyes widened in shock as she saw a writhing shadowy form take shape before her. It was Cthulhu himself, a monstrous grotesque figure with toad-like features, a bloated body, and tentacle-like appendages. His eyes glowed with malevolent intelligence, and his voice slithered through Flossie's mind like a serpent. "Flossie," Cthulhu hissed, "I have heard your pleas and seen your suffering. I shall grant you my dark blessings, the power to make them pay for their cruelty." Flossie's heart raced, both in fear and anticipation. She knew that Cthulhu's gifts came with a heavy price, but she was willing to pay any cost to escape her tormentors. "What must I do?" Flossie asked. The dark god extended one of his tentacle-like arms, touching Flossie's forehead. In that instant, she felt an intense surge of power course through her body. She could sense an uncanny connection to the very essence of chaos and malevolence. "You shall have the mantle of the evil clown, the cunning silver-tongued jester, the trickster gods," Cthulhu intoned. "You can transform into a monstrous clown form, a visage of terror and chaos. You shall be my instrument of vengeance." With those words, Cthulhu disappeared into the shadows, leaving Flossie trembling with newfound abilities and a burning desire for retribution. The following day, Flossie awoke with a newfound confidence and determination. She felt the power of Cthulhu coursing through her veins, and she knew that her days of being the circus's punching bag were over. She decided to put her newfound abilities to use and make her tormentors pay for their cruelty. As the evening sun dipped below the horizon, casting the circus grounds into an eerie twilight, Flossie ventured out of her Vardo. She moved through the darkened circus, her movements graceful and silent as a specter. Her first target was Barnaby Mingo, the ringmaster who had reveled in her suffering for far too long. She waited in the shadows as he walked toward her, his booming laughter echoing through the empty carnival grounds. With a flick of her wrist, Flossie summoned her dark powers. In an instant, her clownish features contorted into a nightmarish grin, her eyes became hollow, and her body grew grotesquely twisted. She stepped out of the darkness, her monstrous clown form now revealed. Flossie was now an undulating, bee-tentacled pink Lovecraftian nightmare. Barnaby Mingo froze, his laughter dying in his throat as he laid eyes on the abomination before him. Flossie's laughter was no longer jovial, but a haunting, malevolent cackle that sent shivers down his spine. "What's the matter, Barnaby?" Flossie hissed in a voice that seemed to come from the very depths of the abyss. "Not so funny now, is it?" Barnaby Mingo stumbled backward, tripping over his own feet in sheer terror. Flossie advanced, her monstrous form casting a shadow of dread over him. She unleashed her newfound powers, causing a storm of chaos and fear to swirl around him. The very ground seemed to shift and contort beneath his feet, as though the world itself had turned against him. Barnaby Mingo screamed. It was a guttural, animalistic sound as the darkness closed in around him. His very soul was being consumed by the malevolent pink terror Flossie had unleashed. The other circus workers and performers, drawn by the commotion, watched in horror as Flossie exacted her vengeance. They had never seen anything like this, and fear spread through their ranks like wildfire. With Barnaby Mingo vanquished, Flossie turned her attention to the rest of the cruel circus. She confronted those who had tormented her for so long, each encounter more terrifying than the last. Her monstrous clown form inspired such dread that some simply fled, while others were subjected to the same torment they had inflicted upon her. The once bustling and chaotic circus ground was now a place of fear and despair. The performers and workers who remained huddled together, their faces drained of color, and their laughter replaced with tears. As dawn approached, Flossie reverted to her normal form, her clown makeup smeared and her clothes tattered from her night of vengeance. She knew that her actions had forever changed the circus, and she could never return to the simple life she had once known. Flossie left the circus that morning, a quiet smile playing on her lips as she looked back one last time at the shattered remnants of the Mingo brothers' traveling circus. She had fulfilled her desire for revenge, and her tormentors would never again hurt another innocent soul. Flossie had become the bad clown, an avenging spirit of chaos and darkness, and she had shown the world that even the most innocent of hearts could be consumed by the darkness when pushed too far. She walked away from the circus, forever changed, forever haunted by the malevolent power of Cthulhu, and forever destined to bring terror to those who crossed her path.